Flights have resumed at Hong Kong's airport following 2 days of demonstrations. Some of them, though, did get violent. Several dozen protesters continue to occupy the arrivals terminal right now. And President Trump seems optimistic the two sides are going to reach a solution.
The Hong Kong thing is a very tough situation. Very tough. We'll see what happens, but I'm sure it'll work out. I hope it works out for everybody, including China, by the way. I hope it works out for everybody.
Our next guest says the U.S. should urge Hong Kong's government to resolve these disputes and find peace. Retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis joins us now, Senior Fellow at Defense Priorities. Colonel, good morning.
Good morning, Cheryl. How are you?
Well, I'm good, but I have to tell you, it is disconcerting when you think about Tiananmen Square and you think about the fact that the president said yesterday that his intelligence shows him that the intelligence agencies are telling him that the Chinese are mobilizing on the border, especially through Shenzhen. Doesn't that concern you a little bit?
Well, I think that because China really values stability and that they recognize that Hong Kong is really important to their economic future, they're going to do everything they can to avoid another Tiananmen Square situation, because that would definitely harm their own interest. And I think it's in their interest to get this resolved peacefully. And that's why I think it's in the United States' interest to affirm the agenda of the protesters, because we always, want peaceful people to have freedom everywhere. But we should urge the country, as President Trump did in that tweet there, or in that comment, that they should get this resolved peacefully.
Well, the other question here, though, obviously, is the image for China and Xi Jinping in particular. We are in the middle of a trade war with the Chinese.
Right.
That is a day-to-day development, something I'm sure else will happen today on that front. But Xi Jinping is under a lot of pressure by the hardliners in his own country. That could include Hong Kong.
Well, he does, because they also have to be concerned with, how this would be viewed elsewhere in China. So they can't be seen as giving in too much to these, to people who demanding more freedoms, because then that could have cascading effects elsewhere in their country. But they also have then the contrary side, that they can't go too far, because then that could cause more problems for them, both domestically and internationally. So it's a balancing act that they've got to have, and they're in a pretty tough situation.
Well, what do you make of the Chinese throwing shade at the United States, accusing officials here of inciting this violence in Hong Kong? I mean, I think a lot of Americans found that pretty offensive.
Well, they do. And, the United States, we always want to affirm anyone who's protesting for freedom. But we do have to recognize, though, that we don't have that much influence right now because of these trade war issues and some of these other things. And if we go too far to say, hey, basically that the protesters can do whatever they want and it's all the bad on the Chinese part, then, that's not going to be resolved well. It's going to limit our influence.
What do you make of the fact that U.S. warships have been turned away from the port there?
Yeah, I don't think that's surprising at all, because they're already accusing us of actually being behind a lot of these, and I think the last thing they want is to have the presence of U.S. military actually in Hong Kong.
Well,
ports.
I asked that because Hong Kong, at the end of the day, it seems to be the crown jewel for the Chinese, I would assume, because of its financial independence, because of the travel industry, which is crucial to the economy there, and that's where I think we hope that there can be a peaceful solution, in particular if Carrie Lam resigns. Last word.
Right, absolutely, it does, and that's why I think that's actually in our favor and in the protesters' favor, that China wants to resolve this peacefully. They don't want to mess this, golden goose up.
Well, hopefully they won't, and things will calm down. Colonel Davis, thank you for being here.
Always my pleasure. Thanks.